everyone for joining us today. My name is Daniel Marsh. I'm one of the senior pre-sales engineers here at TP-Link. I am joined by Arturo, who's also a senior pre-sales. He's going to be monitoring the chat, making sure that any questions that you've got will get answered. So please feel free, if you do have any questions, just post them in the Q&A section. Yeah, we'll go through that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the roadmap, but incorporating into the roadmap is some of the latest features, one of which being Wi-Fi 7 and sort of the benefits that Wi-Fi 7 brings over its predecessors, such as the Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, it's showing you that Wi-Fi 7 has a 46 gigabit per second throughput, which is 4.8 times faster. Now, because of the evolution of AR and virtual reality, it does require a bit more of a low latency, higher speed wireless network, which is why Wi-Fi 7 is being developed the way that it does. One of the biggest things that is incorporated is multi-link operation as well. And this actually provides Wi-Fi 7 the ability to do load balancing over all the radio. So it is a way of combating all that level of interference and again providing that greater capacity than Wi-Fi 6 as well. So moving on to sort of the product releases that we've got coming out. So some of the outdoor access points that we've got. This access point that's in front of you is wall mounted one. It's an IP68 rated. So the operating temperature, as you can see, is -40 to 75 degrees Celsius, which means that it can be installed in really harsh environments. It does support external antennas. We do provide them, which is the APA 110 located on the right hand side of the screen. Now, you can use your own sort of antennas. You can use sectors as well, a bit more, maybe even directional antennas, depending on your deployment. One of the really good things about this access point is not only does it have a 2.5 gig multi-gig port, which is where everything seems to be going nowadays, but it also supports PoE out as well, so like a PoE pass-through, as well as the fact it also supports 10 gig SFP+. So it's perfect installation for, let's say, CCTV cameras where you haven't got that much space, you need it part of the network. It can plug straight into the back of the access point and be part of the network. And with it being an external device, you can do point-to-points as well. So in areas where you can't get cables and yet you still need CCTV and you've got power, this is the perfect sort of outdoor deployment. And Bluetooth is also enabled in it, and Bluetooth will come more apparent with some of the later software releases that we're bringing out. Now, we have some more outdoor ones. Now, these ones are more, let's say, integrated antennas. So you don't need any external antennas. They provide you a direction of either 120 degrees or 30 degrees. So depending on your deployment and the sort of width of the broadcast range that you want, then you can pick one or the other based on your use case. Both support AT power, but also passive PoE as well. And they're both IP67 rated. Now, they're looking to be out in Q4 2024. So let's sort of say within the new year, we're going to have a lot more access points joining our portfolio. And these are Wi-Fi 6 dual band routers as well. Now, we have had a demand. Now, we do quite a few external access points, but we have had demands from customers of wanting something a little bit smaller and something with external antennas, again, to allow you to install it on like a sector or more directional based antennas. So this one that we're bringing out is an IP65 rated. Again, it's got detachable external antennas. And it's just a nice, small, very cost-effective unit, which is going to be out in the new year. So again, this is something that's to fill the gap in the market and based on feedback that we've generated from our customers. That being said, on the outdoor stuff, we're still bringing out the bridge kit. So some of you would have seen that we have got the bridge kits available for shipping on our price file. So these are pretty much for point-to-point, point-to-multi-point systems. They come in a pack of 2 and they auto pair without DHCP. So you can pretty much get them out, point them to each other, and they will create a pair of wireless links. And these links, depending on your use case, can either be around 1 kilometer or 5 kilometers. So you can see the sort of distance that we can get from it. We are looking at actually developing or bringing out a single based unit so that you can increase it, because these are designed for a pair, but obviously you can add more than one additional device onto it. So you can do, again, point to points, but point to multi-points as well. And they've got 3 gigabit ports on it. So again, being able to extend your network without having to put some form of industrial switch outside. Now, the EAP225 bridge. Now, this is one which is yet to be determined on its release date, but this will benefit of being able to give you 15-kilometer plus wireless transmission. So this, again, is for areas where you need wireless external connections over a greater distance, where laying cables is just not very cost effective in the slightest. And with it providing a bit more of a directional beam, it really does help with the throughput and the distance coverage as well. So just to sort of show you the use case on the point-to-points and the point-to-multi-points. Again, point-to-point is a single point. It's basically like doing a cable over the air. And whereas point-to-multi-point allow multiple different wireless access points to connect to one single point. Now this, again, is perfect for areas where you need to get wireless connectivity to where you want CCTV cameras, external access points, for schools, for instance, when they reach capacity, they install these temporary buildings outside that they're 20 years down the road, but they still need internet connectivity. So again, being able to do this allows you to go into loads of different areas, extend Wi-Fi to additional buildings, parking lots, farms and orchards. I've seen lots of farms using external equipment like this, and also construction sites as well, especially with some of the 4G and 5G routers that we've got for deployment as well. Those temporary construction sites, you can pretty much just rock up on site, install the kit, manage it through Omada, and away you go. So that sort of covers our external access points. So let's move on to our sort of switches that we're sort of bringing out. Now, I have mentioned the terminology multi-gig. So what multi-gig is, it's the Ethernet connectors on a switch, which have always, for many years, been a gig. They're now exceeding that because of how Wi-Fi is developing and our needs increasing. So we've brought out two and a half gig ports. So these are defined as multi-gig. Yeah, it is cable specific as well. So if you're looking to do multi-gig, please ensure your cable quality is sort of Cat 6, Cat 7 beyond to really be able to benefit from it. So we've got the SG 2210 XMP on the left hand side. This is new switches that are coming out with eight 2.5 gig ports. It's also got some 10 gig fiber ports on there as well, and it is a PoE switch, so it supports both AF and AT PoE standard. And as you can see, for a small switch, 160 PoE budget is ideal, and the fact that it's got a fanless design as well. So for those noise sensitive areas, it's a perfect deployment, like in a receptionist or something like that, where you do need it to power, let's say, point of sales devices, card machines, etc. And as we move across, we start increasing the switch. So we've got the same sort of port density, but it allows not only PoE but a non-PoE model, and also rack mountable as well. So a 19-inch rack mountable. With the PoE models, it supports a 240 watt budget. So again, the PoE budget is always important when you're doing an installation, because if you haven't got enough PoE budget, you're not going to be able to power all of your devices. And then we go across to the 3218 XP. That's got 16 2.5 gig ports, 2 10 gig ports. So as you can see, as we move through the portfolio of the newer release switches, we are providing more PoE budget, and again, that 2.5 gig multi-gig ports on it as well. And then, on the right hand side, we've got one which supports PoE++. So this is 60 watt PoE delivery, perfect for PTZ cameras or those higher end Wi-Fi 7 access points that require a bit more juice. As we move to our layer 2 managed switches, now this is where it gets really exciting. We've got 32 10 gig fiber ports. So this is again core networking with a built-in redundant power supply as well. So being able to, let's say, have multiple UPSs in your rack, this switch can connect to both. So if there is any power related issues, the switch can still function. And then on the right hand side, where we've got the 3832, both PoE and non-PoE version. So again, we've got 10 gig Ethernet ports. So this is 10 gig copper ports along with 8 10 gig fiber plus ports. Now, what's really good is with the PoE model on this, it supports 24 PoE plus ports, and they can provide up to 90 watts per port. So again, 60 watt at the moment is, let's say, the current high standard of PoE++, but being able to benefit from 90 watts really does allow us to power those hefty devices. And again, we've got a particular switch that if you power via a PoE switch of 90 watts, you can actually deliver PoE at 200 meters as well. Again, if you're interested in that switch, we can go into that in greater detail offline. So going through it, as we go through to our layer 3 light managed switches. So layer 3 switches are quite important in more enterprise level networks, but we also need a bit more of a cost effective solution for those sort of higher end small medium businesses that still require layer 3 routing. So it supports things like OSPF and static routing. The benefits of this is we can actually do stacking as well, stacking up to four units on all of these models. Yeah, and even with the PoE ones, that means you've got, again, redundancy for those Wi-Fi networks. So being able to have diverse cable runs running throughout the building, power and access points from different switches. If one switch goes down, the PoE can still be managed on certain access points as well. So about high redundancies with a really healthy PoE budget of like 500 watt on the left hand side, moving up to 750 watts. So you can sort of see those switches really do give you the sort of power, the level of transmission speed. So again, 10 gig. And going to the fiber switch on the right hand side, which is out in Q2 2025, you've got 20 SFP ports, so 1 gig fibers, and also some combo ports as well. So depending if you want to use fiber or copper, you have that availability. But the key thing is, again, it's stacking up to 4 units, being able to provide that high redundant network connectivity. Now, what we have all been waiting for, the Omada gateways with DSL connections. So we have the DR3650. We've got a 4G version in the middle, and then we've got another 4G version on the right-hand side. As you can see, they support RJ11, so DSL ports for those traditional sort of analog connections. But we also support FXS ports as well. And this is going to become very important towards the end of next year, because that's when the ISDN switch off is. So with this, that means you'll still be able to use your phone systems through, let's say, our gateway, so our DSL router. It supports up to 3 WANs, moving up to 4 WANs. And again, being able to connect with 4G connectivity is ideal, because not only can you do gigabit Ethernet and DSL, but you can also have 4G in there as load balancing and a failover feature as well. And depending which model you go for will determine whether or not it's desk or wall mounted. And on the right hand side, we do have a rack mounted one as well. You will notice that there is actually a SIM slot in it. So rather than having to use some form of USB dongle or anything like that, you can just put a SIM card straight into the device. So again, this router is something I've been waiting for a long time. I always feel that it provides us to have that single vendor approach. So rather than having to have a 2-box solution, an ADSL router in bridge mode with a firewall or a gateway in there, we now have it all built into one, fully manageable within our Omada cloud platform as well. So as you can see, it's all about bringing a single vendor approach and providing you that one-stop shop for all your sort of networking needs. So as we sort of go through this sort of topology, that in terms of it is providing a simplified topology. So again, providing that more of a one-box solution for small businesses. We don't have to go in there with multiple different devices to accomplish the same goals. Easy setup and scalability. So with our Omada platform and how easy it is to develop. And again, I'm going to go through some exciting features for Omada, which is going to make this, again, even easier and scalable as well. And meeting the business goals. So at the end of the day, we take feedback seriously from our customers. This is why the DSL route has been developed. This is why some of our external access points have been developed based on your feedback, based on your needs and requirements. So please speak to your account managers, and any questions, the senior pre-sales team are here to help you. So with our few of our other gateways that we've got, so we've got the 706W 4G. Now I actually use this when I go out training as a 4G available network, because the hotels I'm in aren't always the best. So these again provide you with an SFP port, gigabit Ethernet, and supports up to 5 WANs. Now in Q4 2024, we are bringing out another one which has also a PoE budget, so provides a bit more of a two-in-one unit. So this will provide a switch as well as a gateway as well. Built-in Wi-Fi of Wi-Fi 6, and supports 4G Cat 6 at 300 megabits per second. So you can imagine the sort of speeds that you can get off that. Perfect for those, again, those temporary installations, construction sites, etc., where you rock up on site, you need internet, but you don't want to get a fixed line. Perfect solution for you there. Then we've got the 706W 5G. So this actually provides you with Wi-Fi 7 on a 2x2, and it's also got multi-gig ports on there as well. So again, increasing the amount of connectivity, and this one actually supports 5G as well, so being able to really utilize all of the sort of 5G spectrum and the cellular technology. They all support sort of the standard IPsec, but also WireGuard and SSL VPNs as well. So a really nice little solution that we can really benefit from the cellular technology on there. We're bringing out an outdoor 5G unit as well. So this is quite a nice little unit because one, I don't like 4G units when they're sort of buried in a comms cabinet because they don't get the best signal. So being able to have one that you can mount outside that supports a SIM card, supports PoE in 2.5 gig as well. It's IP67 rated, and it also supports eSIM as well. So the perfect sort of solution where you'd run it into your secondary WAN line in your gateway, and will give you the best sort of cellular signal as well. The ER703WP4G. So this supports PoE in and PoE out as well, and it also supports one SIM card at IP55 rating as well. And just to give you a bit of an idea of what that looks like, so it supports multiple protocols, centralized management, PoE in and PoE out. Going to FTP routers. So what you've got is the ER8411, which we're already shipping. We also have 7412, which is again a multi-gig router. Supports up to 11 WAN connections. And then moving over, we've got the 7206. All these are which are new. And then we've also got the 706W, which we're shipping. All of the that one has built-in Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi 6 as well. Again, they all support VPNs and a desktop and rack mountable as well, some of them. The key one is as well with the ER8411, again, redundant power supply. So really being able to benefit from that sort of robust network, making sure you've got a full-on connection, regardless if you have power-related issues. And then we're bringing out the ER605W, so a little bit of a small unit. A nice 2-WAN solution, but it only does have Wi-Fi 5 on that one. Now, any of you that's used Omada, which I'm hoping that you all have, we've got the ER7212PC. So this is a 3-in-1 gateway controller and also a switch. So it provides PoE out as well. Again, this is a perfect one-box solution, making sure that it can act as a controller, your gateway, and a switch. So it's a perfect one-box solution. It can manage up to 10 Omada access points and 2 Omada switches. So it is only for sort of smaller deployments. So that being said, we are bringing out the 8411 controller. Now, this is a 2-in-1 controller. It's only a gateway and a controller, so it's not the switch. You're benefiting from 10 gig SFP plus ports, multi-gig ports, and additional sort of LAN ports as well. And you can have up to 10 internet connections going into it. It's fanless, so again, for those noise-sensitive environments, but you can also rack mount it. Now, the biggest benefit is you look at how the scalability goes up from the previous version. You can now manage 100 Omada access points and 20 Omada switches with that. So it really does help. And then moving forward, we're bringing out, again, another 3-in-1 router. Now, this one's yet to be determined on quite a few things in terms of the development, but we're looking for it to be out within the first quarter of next year. So again, this has 10 2.5 gig ports, so really benefiting from a multi-gig. It has some PoE++ ports, being able to provide 90 watt PoE per port. Some normal PoE+ ports can support 2 internet connections. So again, this is going to be a bit of a smaller unit, and it's not going to be able to deal with as many access points as the 8411C, but it's a 3-in-1, and it really will help with those one box solutions. Right. So enough about the product. Moving on to the sort of controller roadmap. So a bit more of the software defined element of it. So as we know, we're already on the Omada version 5.15.06, which is now available, and we are bringing out a new one towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. This one's really good because this will introduce what's called Omada Central. So Omada Central is going to be, let's say, an incorporation of not only our Omada platform, but our VIGI, so our security CCTV division as well, and bringing it all under one sort of platform. So being able to provide access to both your networking and your CCTV installations. We're going to be able to support cluster deployments as well. Site templates for that easy, so a bit more robustness in your network, and then site templates for your scalability and ease of use. And not only that, zero touch provisioning as well. So zero touch provisioning is only available on our cloud. So we've got Cloud Essentials, which is our free cloud, and then you've got the cloud standard. They support zero touch provisioning, but the on-premise controllers don't yet do that until this update. So we're going to have that ability to be able to do that as well. Support SD-WAN. So SD-WAN's quite a little buzzword in the industry, and I'll go into a bit more detail in that later on as well. And also supporting no NAT as well. So those environments where they're using, let's say, a third-party router, and that's where they're doing all the NAT, and they just want to use us to be able to break out and manage a TP-link-based network. We have the ability for that as well. On the access points, we support iBeacon. So this is where Bluetooth will really come into it for analytics purposes. We support WIDS and WIPS, which I'll go into as well. And things like multi-DNS responder as well is also being incorporated into it. One thing that we are also preparing is the 5.15.30 as well. So this is where we start bringing in, let's say, Bluetooth console, supporting Hotspot 2.0, enhancing the topology, providing sort of OUA-based VLAN and MAC-based VLAN. So being able to, let's say, allocate a VLAN based on a device's MAC address or sort of OUI. So that's going to be really good for, again, simplified deployments. Support PoE recovery. So if a device actually goes offline, the switch can automatically recover the PoE, power it off, and power it back on again. So again, that's really good. So zero touch provisioning. So zero touch provisioning has actually changed the way that us engineers do work nowadays, because it means that we can actually set devices up, ship them out without even unboxing them. Hence the reason why it says zero touch. So by doing this, it just means that it reduces our geographic restrictions and allow us to actually reach further into the industry. So yeah, I mean, you'll add the device through the Omada cloud without even unboxing the device. You send it to site, plug it into an active internet connection. First thing it'll do is look towards Omada. Am I sort of registered? In which case, it will then download its configuration once it's discovered it is. So zero touch provisioning, especially for DSL when it comes to routers. Being able to onboard these through zero touch can be quite difficult because you have to put in the PPOE details and everything from the actual internet provider. So we have the ability to onboard it via the 4G dongle or the 4G SIM that's in it. And again, through the controller as well, using the zero touch provisioning, because we have access to the controller, we can push out the internet-based settings. For AgiNet config, what we will be looking at doing it, being able to do batch configs at the warehouse and lock the configuration, so that even if the customer resets it, because we know if they ring up their internet service provider, have you tried resetting your router? First thing they do is go and press the reset pin, cause themselves loads of issues. Let's try and get away from that. So let's lock the configurations. Let's stop them from being able to do that. If they do reset it, it just gets its settings again. Jobs are good done. And then the auto provisioning services. So the TR69, which has been out for many, many years. We've got Omada Open APIs. And again, the controller zero touch provisioning as well. So as you can see, there's many ways of being able to deploy our solution and make it easier and very scalable as well. We've got the audit log. So the audit log meets long-term and large capacity log storage requirements. So it improves the comprehensive audit of network security. We all know network security is important, and being able to look back at an audit log and being able to see exactly what happens helps you prevent further issues in the future. Single sign-on. So the amount of times somebody's come to me and said, "Oh, do you support single sign-on where we can hook into third-party accounts on our Omada?" And basically, this is more for you guys of being able to have one password, one email address, and being able to access all your services, such as Azure, as well as all the Omada as well. So that's something again that we're looking at incorporating. We've got the wireless intrusion detection system. So this is abbreviated as WIDS. So this identifies and detects abnormal behaviors and attacks on your access points and your clients. And what it'll do is it will see malicious software such as botnets, malware, or anything like that, and it will actually place them in a quarantine. So it'll keep them connected to the network, but it will quarantine them away from the rest of your network, thus protecting you. It'll operate on 24/7, and it generally requires no management or administration involvement. Only when something gets obviously quarantined, that's when you need to start looking at sort of the risk assessment against that particular device. Then it supports customization of the detection levels and the types according to the client's requirements as well. So it's very scalable based on your use case scenario. Now, with the WIPS, this is the protection system. It offers multiple protection methods to enhance your network and safeguarding of your network. So it includes deauthentication counter and dynamic deny lists. So this is where it'll basically deauthenticate you from the actual network, thus stopping you from accessing it in any way, shape, or form. Dynamic deny list is basically a list that will dynamically change and update with devices that are not allowed and to certain things on your network. Instant multi-dimensional adaptive WIPS helps protect your sensitive information network resources. So again, this is all about protection. This is all about safeguarding, keeping your network safe, because we know that is vitally important. Now, SD-WAN, the word terminology SD-WAN has been around for years. Now, in a nutshell, SD-WAN is a way of replacing the old school MPLS circuits. So where you was restricted to having the same internet provider at both ends and then being charged a nice hefty fee for the privilege of it. So with SD-WAN, it can automatically select the best path based on real-time network. So what it'll do is you'll have a branch and you'll have a data center. It'll create a nice, strong VPN connection. But what it can also do is monitor your actual internet connection. So if you've got two different internet connections and one's a bit flaky and a bit unstable, it can start moving the traffic over to a different internet connection that you've got, thus improving the quality of your service. So, and that moves on to the assurance. Quality service is key, especially when it comes to VoIP calls or forms of transmission and video streams. So it's a way of ensuring quality of service for your critical business applications. And again, because it's all being incorporated into Omada and the way that we're all going, it's all under a single pane of glass. It's centralized management and controls and gives you full visibility within our Omada platform. So this is something that I'm really looking forward to. I think at the beginning we're going to support hub and spoke, but there are discussions to being able to offer a full mesh solution on that as well. Content filtering. So content filtering is going to be included in the December release. This supports up to 6,000 URL signatures, which is based on a database that is updated regularly. And it supports content allow and deny lists as well. So you can put in your own in there as well and do a bit of a custom one. Really good for sort of education-based installations, making sure that, let's say, for instance, children can't go on specific websites that they're not allowed on. Again, that's something that I am looking forward to in the new year. So the Essentials roadmap. So with Omada Cloud Essentials, which is our free version, again, you can literally just build up your own cloud control and start inputting your devices. It's a bit more cut down than the standard version, but it is very, very good in terms of the feature set it offers. So we're going to be doing adding a network wizard on there, so being able to optimize the creation of networks. auto loopback detection, so increasing the stability of surveillance networks as well, and ensuring that loops are not detected or impacting your network in any way, shape, or form. Batch configurations for port reboots as well. So if a particular downstream client fails, then you can restart the ports based on a recovery sort of scenario. Optimizing of the LLDP. One of the really good things I like about Omada is our topology and how it builds up the topology and how interactive it is. So we're further optimizing that as well. We've brought out some new brand colors, as you might see with our cloud controllers. The screen's slightly changed. I think it's a bit more fluid and a bit easy to run through as well. But we also support the heat map as well as of November, which really does help with pre-sales network planning. Sometimes I upload a floor plan into there and then start generating a small little heat map, just a bit of a reference and a guide for the site that I'm dealing with. So looking into December, again, because Essentials has just come out, and that is your free cloud. But obviously, we've got the standard as well, which offers you a bit more flavor in terms of features. So we are looking at providing an upgrade path and a migration path. So if you decide that you want to start onboarding TP-Link as your primary vendor, then you can jump on the free cloud, start adding devices. But then you realize that, let's say, the free version doesn't give you quite everything you need, such as PPSK, and you need to upscale it a bit more. Well, that's not a problem. We just look at migrating you across, moving you over to the standard version, and again, it'll obviously incorporate some licensing on there as well. But we can obviously discuss that in further detail. And then going into Q1, I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to the most is the fact of being able to do PoE auto recovery, because I think that's important, especially for cameras and access points. But also being able to back up and restore to a hardware or software controller as well. So being able to, let's say, if you don't want to use a cloud, let's say the customer's a little bit worried about cloud level connectivity. Obviously, our platform is fully GDPR compliant and we inherit all the ISO accreditations. But sometimes customers do want to change their topology and move to that on-premise solution, so which we can also do as well. So the Omada Essentials for surveillance. So we've got the Omada Essentials, which is officially launched. It's license free. It is unlimited management scale again, but you won't get all the features that you get on the full-blown standard version. But for 98% of networks, the Essentials will be fantastic. And some tailored features as well for the CCTV industry, such as PoE recovery. Easy managed switches. So we all know that CCTV based installers usually use unmanaged switches. Now, for us as network engineers, can prove quite difficult being able to troubleshoot these networks. So we've got easy managed switches. So these are just easy managed switches, not very intelligent in terms of the features that it does, but tailored towards the CCTV industry as well. We've got the Wi-Fi bridging kits. So work out the box, point to point and point to multi-points. And then again, it's supported within the Omada Central as well. We've got outdoor PoE switching extenders. So again, these are devices that we can power via PoE, but also get PoE back out of them. This particular switch allows you to overcome your 100-meter limitation and reach as far up to 200 meters. Again, being able to provide PoE as well. We've got outdoor 4G routers. So again, PoE powered 4G routers so that you can position them in the best area where you can get your 4G connection. Again, I'm not a big fan of putting them into a data cabinet. There's too much metal in there for me. And when it comes to 4G connections, it's not going to give you the best level of signal. Then we've got sort of accessories as well. So PoE adapters, extenders, switches. So the SG1005 PD. That is the switch which can be powered via a PoE injector. Power it with a 90 watt, you get about 60 odd watts worth of PoE out of it. So Omada Central. Omada Central, again, is going to be our one-stop platform for your networking as well as your security needs as well. So it will show you things like automatic topologies. It'll automatically detect your devices when you put them onto the same network. And not only that, quick troubleshooting all in one place as well. So it is an integrated network and video solution. So you look how scalable it is in terms of how many devices we can have, how many switches we can have, how many cameras we can run off it, point-to-point links, mesh systems. Honestly, the sky is the limit with Omada in terms of the feature set and everything that we can do with it. And that moving on from the actual roadmap, but I do just want to introduce again, if you're not on the partner program, come and join it. You'll get many benefits. You'll get training, you get product updates, utilize our demo and our NFR kit. And also, our marketing team is absolutely fantastic. Being able to collaborate with them on case studies, events, road shows. We've even got a demo van that we like taking out on little road shows. So look, you can get registered. You get silver, gold, and platinum. And what this partner program is all about is it's about TP-Link wanting to spend more time with its customers and understand your needs and requirements and what benefits and value we can bring you in certain areas. So please jump onto the partner program, speak to your account manager, reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn, and we'll get you signed up on it, and we'll get you getting those TP-Link benefits. And we all know engineers love kit. Yeah, you get some kit in your hand, chances are that you're going to be using it. So we do have a 40% offer as well for some demo kit. So you can select any product from the Omada range and maximum 2 products per SKU at 40% off. And again, I'm doing this with a customer in the over the Christmas period. We're refitting their entire network out with TP-Link that they're utilizing the 40% discount on. And I'm helping them do that as well because they are invested in using TP-Link, because we're not just a consumer brand anymore. We are moving into the business to business, and we can provide you that level of value and that level of technology as well. I would like to say thank you everyone for joining me. Again, if you've got any questions or need any follow-ups afterwards, my name's Daniel. Again, you can find me on LinkedIn, as well as being able to contact me at the office as well. So thank you ever so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Cheers, Arturo. Thank you for your support.
You're very welcome. Thank you all for attending.